Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we'll be jumping into AFLW Fantasy. Yes, it hasn't been formally announced, well, formally opened I should say, for the season for 2025, but we do have the player positions and their prices, which is a really good thing. Then we can start to sort of build our teams, etc. So I have created more of a, we obviously saw, and this is huge credit to Liam, AFLW Fantasy, for being able to create the initial sort of template free kick Liam that I was able to build off of to create more of a sort of YouTube friendly Excel doc to be able to build teams, and it will be able to show it for you guys a little bit easier. So that was well done to him for creating almost all the background data, or at least formulating it in a way that I can just sort of tweak the appearance, I would say, or the overlay. And also when we go into this, you'll probably see the price average for a lot of these players might be 0.1 off. The formula that I've used with the magic number meant that the rounding is potentially 0.002, 0.003 off, etc. And it just sometimes for some players causes it to be 0.1 off because of rounding up and down. It's just slightly different, and I understand why, etc. But yeah, just for those that are pointing that out, if you do catch that on. But anyway, let's jump into this. So as you can see here on screen, I've created a document here, an Excel doc, which I will link in the description as well. Just basically a team creator that has all of these. These are just tabs that it can actually formulate off of. And you basically, if I just do that out, and you'll see here, if I go through, it will say how many players you have picked already, 20, how many players you have left to pick, 21. Average price of the players that you have picked, the average price available left you, and then it's got up here, this is always going to be a fixed 15.5 million, as we know. And then you've got the salary spent, which is just basically how many, all the players added up. All these, if we go through here, you'll see that. Scrolling back out again, you'll see it all here, all the players. That's just a sum of that. And then obviously remaining salary is basically these two just numbers taken away from each other, or the salary spent taken away from the salary to start. And when you actually, because this will be, the link below will have it as an empty document. That'll be how I put it on Google Sheet, etc. They will have it as an empty document, and all you're going to do to select players, if we wanted to get, say, a Charlotte Thomas, is do that, and then it comes down as an almost drop down box, and then you just have to click enter, or I'm pretty sure you can just select the player there, and it does work there. And then you have their price and their average from the previous season. I couldn't just use their average from the previous season that was on the AFL website, because we do have players that have their pricing off of last year's 2 years ago data, not last year. One of them was, the main one was Ali Moffat, that I thought might have played enough games to register as her 2024 price, but she's going off her 2023 average, I should say, and then appropriately priced off of that, which is disappointing because that could have opened up more options, but it is what it is. So onto, now with all that aside, onto the actual team. And one thing you'll notice for anyone that hasn't played fantasy is that a lot of the points come in the midfield. Just look at this. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying this. Defenders, if I just go quickly, you've got Matty Gay, who's 1.065 million, but 1.065 million as the top would be considered, if we just go quickly down here and just do the maths, is that 29th best midfielder, just looking off the top of my head, is the first ranked, the 30th best midfielder, quote unquote, would be the best defender in terms of price point. And obviously we're going to get some defenders. If I just put Gay in, because I want to see her what she averaged for the year. She averaged 82. I think there was a couple, like I think Sheeran, that was above her, etc. I just want to check, is there a Sheeran in here somewhere? Let me just check, because she was definitely up there as well in terms of the rucks. Sorry, not the rucks, the defenders. And as you can see here, she was 1.023, so just short of Matty Gay. But there's usually a couple more than just the two sort of here. So you'll probably see there'll be 4 or 5 maybe, if we're lucky, defenders to average in the 80s, but it probably won't be the case. It might only be 3 or so again, but we'll see about that. But yeah, that just sort of shows the points go to the midfielders, and that's because there's a massive tackle base, and you'll understand sort of my reasoning behind some of my selections when we get into them when I'm weighing up 50-50s. And obviously, this is just an initial team reveal before the game obviously comes out in full and everything, and we sort of look at fixtures and everything and matchups, etc. And that'll sort of give me and preseason look-ins as well, as that'll probably give me the greater look in for these very tough decisions M1 through 4, which are probably going to stay in your side for the whole season. But anyway, let's just put Thomas back into there. So one player that I've definitely looked at in terms of not actually having in the side is Serene Watson. I had her the whole of last year, I believe, and she's very, very up and down and very, very much scores in a way that is... Well, she's going to get the kick-ins for St Kilda, but she gets a lot of marks which are very, very different to how AFLW works in general with the scoring. It's very much tackle-based, so she's one that I'm not too... I don't know if she's going to be value this year, or if she's just going to sort of hold at 67, and you can get... There's plenty of girls that I reckon are going to be 600k, like, say, someone in between a Heads and a Cronin, that will potentially be more value. So yeah, if we look at Serene Watson just quickly here, you'll see for me what I saw out of her. As you can see, a massive uptake. She basically took another 3.5 kick-ins per game comparative to what she was taking previously at St Kilda the year before, and that meant that 3.5 kick-ins per game, she was basically destined to get another 10 points per game off kick-ins, which is about a quarter, if not a third of what she was getting in terms of her points improvement per game. And then you can see she had 3.8 marks per game and 2.7 tackles. So just in general, getting around it a little bit more, which helped her out, as well as just the kicks and handballs just getting up a lot more. So I don't know if she'll be valued this year. I need to look at the sort of injury players as well as players that have been traded in and out, because there's a couple, especially the rookies. It's a lot about just getting into that midfield. If you can get a rookie that's playing on ball, then you're golden in this. It's not the rookies that play off halfback can score a little bit, but they're not going to score really, really well compared to the midfielders, at least in my opinion. And the small forwards, you can basically just disregard the rookies there, because they're going to have a good game and then an absolute poor game. Lucy McAvoy, I think with Heads going as well, and I think Malloy was down there back there a little bit, and it looks like Zippy Fish, who we'll get to in a second, will probably join her down there, potentially might play on a wing. It looks like it's just opened up a little bit for Lucy in the back half. They look like they're going with a couple more lockdown defenders, like Hassinger, Collier, etc., and then the tools of Alice Mitchell and someone else that I'm missing, which sort of just opens it up. Tarrant it would be. It would open it up for McAvoy there. With Heads not being in the side, she gets a lot more kick-ins. If we just go to, let's actually show you Ella Heads, her stats, and then show you how it's going to probably open up. You've got 31 kick-ins, 37 kick-ins. And if you go to McAvoy here, and we go to her stats as well, you'll see she's up 10 points per game from last year, but 12 kick-ins compared to 26 the year before, which shows that she's down about a kick-in per game, which is about 3 points per game at least, that she can easily pick it up, that I think she will take over. If we actually do look at the Swans kick-ins numbers, you'll see this as well. I'm pretty sure it'll show this. If you look at this, Ella Heads, Tarrant took 31 and 30, and then you have Lucy McAvoy. I think she'll get more kick-ins in the coming couple of this year, because I think she'll be one that can pick it up and really do well. So I think she's one that I think can test top of the line in this year. Ella Heads, I think just going to a new system and a new club is a really good potential for a big jump out here. I'm pretty sure last year she averaged 65 or 70, so I think there is some value there. And I know that she played 2 or 3 games on the wing for Sydney, or at least played, as you see here, 8 points of value, 6 kick-ins that she missed from last year, from a couple of years ago. And you can just see there's a 33 and a 20 here. that basically if you take those 2 games out, 53 points. So if we go 60.5 times by 11, that'll be roughly the 665. So 666 minus 53 is 613. Divide that by 9. And she averages 68.1 if you take out the wing games. So you're getting someone based on 2 games where she played on wing, because I don't know what was going on at Sydney at that point. You're getting 7.5 points of value there. And I think even with the new system at Port Adelaide, if we go to who was actually kicking out for Port Adelaide, will be a decent one to actually look at, because I don't remember if there was someone consistently doing it from memory. Let's just go to Port Adelaide here. It was Brooksby and Foley. I think she takes kick-ins there at Port Adelaide when she's back there. So, and they had quite a few kick-ins, so she might have access to another 10, 15 kick-ins of what she was getting. So I think there's like I said with McAvoy, I think there's one that we've seen previous form. Well, McAvoy we didn't, but we've seen previous form of Heads being a top 6 or 7, I believe, defender. And I think she can go clear enough to that point, maybe even push top 3 or 4 here, with just sort of looking at how much more open I think that backline is for her now at a different club. They were kind of both taking each other, points off each other. And I think now that they're both at different clubs, it will help them out better. Cronin was sort of just a plug and play at the moment. I do have a lot of cash left over, so I just do want to look at the sort of reasoning behind 46.2 for Collingwood. Has she had any injury games? Maybe just taking that next step. It's sort of just the one that I'll look at in terms of there's a potential to play a rookie here, etc. We'll see how that goes. And also there's potential just to downgrade a Serene Watson to someone else and then upgrade a Lucy Cronin, etc. Potentially even downgrade an Eleanor Brown to someone like an Isabella Bacon, who might take over that midfield spot from Elise Sheeran. So that's sort of the thinking there. I think Thompson, McAvoy, and Heads are pretty much set for me, as Thompson's done this, I think, 3 years running, or at least 2. She's definitely done it at least 2 years running, could be 3. She's done it the last 2 years, been basically the number 1, and I think she's going to basically do it again. And I don't think there's anyone really taking kick-ins from her at West Coast, so she's going to be there. And then you've got, obviously, as I said, the value there I find with Heads and McAvoy, and then you've sort of got what will develop over the season with Watson, Cronin, and Brown, looking at Bacon, and definitely we'll have, obviously, the preseason stuff to look at other players. Then we get to the midfield, and this is where you spend a lot of your money. As you can see, I've spent, what's that off the top of my head, 3.2, 4.35, 5.3. I probably spent over 6 million in the midfield if I just actually quickly sum it up for you guys. Let me actually just do this and I'll grab it for you guys so that you know how much. 6.18 I have spent in that midfield. So yeah, 6 million out of a cap of 15 sort of shows where the money is going to be spent, where the points are made. Marinoff, I don't know about her start, etc., but I just can't see a way in which it's very hard not to go with her, because it's very, very tough, even with 3 trades, to get to her. We saw that last year with people when they had doubles. They obviously don't have doubles, so it's less dangerous, because I think in the doubles she went 350 or something like that, which everyone had captaincy on to get to 700 or whatever it was in the end. But that was the dangerous one. If you couldn't get to her, that was your season already done, just off that one move, pretty much. So it's going to be less dangerous that we're only getting singles. They've let go of the double games, etc., etc. But I just think you sort of have to start with her almost in a way. We will see. I'll probably fiddle with teams when the app opens with teams that don't have her in, and just seeing. But I don't know, because I think there's enough value on the bench to be able to basically go, because if you don't grab her up and you grab another premium up, like a Laura Gardner, let's just say it, I think she's around the same price as Charlie Rowbottom or so, I think. If you grab that up and you get someone, I think Laura Gardner's around that 1.25, 1.26. We can actually just double check that. Gardner. Gardner is 1.31, and then you've got Garner as well at 1.45. So if you got those girls in there and you'd save an extra 400k, you could potentially get Cronin up to a primo. You could potentially get another primo in this forward line. But I don't know if there's any value there, because if Marinoff goes at 140, 145, she'll be a captaincy option each and every week. And that'll be much more points. You'll be getting 30 points per game in captaincy option. Whereas if you maybe get the right forward, you might gain 20 of that back. But then again, also, you might also be giving up sort of 20 points to back to a rookie that's overplaying their price point. So it's like, if you can pick the right rookie with Marinoff, it softens that blow compared to someone that might get 2 primos. But yeah, I just think the cash generation from rookies is quite crazy, and both having cash left over is critical to be able to make swaps, but also having the best scorer, because the gap between the number one's captaincy scorer week on week in Marinoff compared to others, Marinoff, Garner, because Garner could almost fit in this side, I think, for like a Bowers. Those two are going to be critical probably to have, and Riddell, those three are probably going to be critical to have by the end of the season near enough. Unless Bowers starts going off and then you start to create a 4 or 5 girl team that's sort of midfield that's enabling you to get the big scores, and it sort of lessens the gap, I would say. But yeah, I think Marinoff is a must. Rowbottom, I think there's value there. She just has that strong tackling base, which we know about. And we know it scores points. She averages 7.9 tackles. That's down 1.7 tackles. There was thoughts that she might leave potentially. One thing I do like about her as well is that she's actually not at her peak. She was a 113 2 years ago, now. And that was basically all because of tackling. I would say that she wasn't scoring her best. And also free kicks against, she went up 1.3, which is quite annoying that she basically gave up another 4.5 points in free kick differential points, which is almost what the difference is in itself. So if we just look, she had some 80s, 70s, which games are annoying that we had last year when we owned her. But now you're like, oh, she got those games in. There's value there, as she barely scraped in non-ton games in season 8. As you can look here, it was 84 and 81, 94 were her only non-ton games. Whereas if you look at it last year, she started off with a 104, 160 odd. And then it was just when she basically hit the double that it looked like she tired out a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes this year. Pretty sure she has a decent run from memory. And so she is M2. Bowers, coming off of a season of not playing, the value I just think is there. She's priced at 89.5. And her lowest season that she's had is a 100.6. If we get 100.6, which is on the low end, then that's still extreme value. But if we get the 110s or so, then she's going to be near enough. She'll be clearing row bottom. I don't know. Let's actually just look at a 110 or so would be in the top 3 or 4. As you see, it would be here with Riddell, I think, is about the 110 marker. I can just double check that for you guys. If we go here, Riddell 110.7. So that is how much she's closing up if we look at the values there. She's at 1.159 million, and Riddell is an average of 110, and she is 280k more expensive or so. So that's where the value is with Bowers, and that's why I think you kind of have to take advantage of that. I think it's a 30 point, 111.8 down to 89.5. 89.5 divided by 111.8 is roughly 20% value taken off of her. So she got 20% basically scrapped off of her, which is really good, and you got to take that. Next up is Georgie Prespark, is one that I've definitely toed and froed and gone, can I go somewhere else with this one here? And she's probably the midfielder that I'm pretty set on these girls and then the rookies. So I think Georgie Presparkis is the one rookie that I'm going, I don't know about this one in comparison to all the one non-rookie, I should say, in the midfield. So yeah, I can see the value there. The value is like 20 points of value. If we go Georgie here, you'll see it. 23 points of value from last year, and she's basically had 2 years as a primo mid where she basically attends all the CBAs, and you can see the stats are there. I'm pretty sure she might have had an injury game in here somewhere, maybe not. But yeah, I just think that there is value here. She had a 46 where I believe she got tagged as well. And aside from that, she also had a 39 as well. So yeah, I think there is value there for Prasparkas. You just got to hope that she comes out in the VFL, well, if she plays the VFL or the practice games, I should say, and comes out on fire. And then Fish, she has some of the best stats that I've seen from a rookie, and especially for the role that I think she's going to play. She's going to play more off halfback wing, which should be able to really, with the Swan system, they do like to market a little bit more than most teams, it feels like. If we just look at Sydney and look at their stats in particular here, and I don't know if it's going to give you the stats per se, but if we look at the marking, 4s, 3s, etc., there's not too much marking there comparative to what you would expect the men's game to be, but it feels like they're one that does sort of take this sort of slow marking approach. I just want to check also the teams like a Brisbane, I'm pretty sure, do this as well, and see their marks as well. They're also up and around the same marker. And then you've got, I'm pretty sure North Melbourne was the other side that does like to mark it a little bit more, and they've got a similar-ish range there. No one's really outlandish. I just want to check some other sides here that from memory are sort of mark first sides. Most sides are in and around the same marker anyway, but I feel like Zippy's coming into a system where she's going to be able to do what she needs to do at her best. And so that's why she would be the on field or not, she'd be there in the side for me. She's in the top 3 sort of midfielders that I want out of the rookies. So is Ash Centra. She's one of the number 1 pick, and her stats are kind of crazy. Now, Harris, I don't know where exactly she's going to play, and I would potentially change out like a Prasparkas to a rookie to potentially get Harris up if she isn't going to play a role that I like as much. But I think she'll come in to play sort of on ball-ish, I think, or get a similar-ish role, and I think that she can easily score 60s or 70s. And then you got Tipping, who basically is just a filler ruck here, who will just switch and see who is a ruck that's actually going to play R2 if we can. Because that is critical for cash generation, because you never know in 5 or 6 weeks time in the season, in round 5 or 6, I should say, when your R2 is like 600k or something dumb like that, and you go, oh, yep, can take the 300k, can take another 300k from, say, my utility position, and then suddenly you're upgrading a rookie to the top of the line. You're upgrading your rookie mid up to top of the line or something like that. You're getting in a Riddell or something like that. And then for the forward line, Goldsworthy, I think she's one of the only forwards that somehow doesn't get taken her status of forward away. I don't remember because I thought she was playing on ball. But yeah, let's just look at it. 91% CBAs and still gets forward status. Interesting to say. But yeah, definitely someone that I think it's just going to be near enough top of the pile for us. And I think someone that, if we do, I think she's almost going to be so far away in the forward line for top of the line. So I think you sometimes have to spend money somewhere. And I think Goldsworthy is just one that has that sort of 100, 120 game in her. And I don't know if many others will have it in that forward line outside of her. So that's why she is the F1. Stanek coming off of an injury, another one coming off not playing, is a little bit concerning. But then again, you just get so much value out of that. Like we're getting off the pop Stanek here. I don't know whether she'll play on ball, and I have a feeling I'll end up with one of Stanek or Bowers. But if we look at Stanek here, last year 73.9, and she now gets roughly that 20% discount down to 59.2, give or take. And there's just value there. That is roughly 14 points. It's about 200k in value, give or take, maybe 180k or so in value, I think. So yeah, just ultimate value there for her. So yeah, just checking that for a second. Yeah, 180k in value, give or take. Howarth, now this is where you sort of get into the just chuck names on the wall and then just see in preseason this will ultimately change. Don't know about Howarth. I would say the only two that I know of that I'm going to start are Too Good and Goldsworthy. I don't know about Stanek, Howarth, and also Ewings. Ewings, you just hope she gets into some semblance of the side, because she's been a player that's averaged, I think, 65, I want to say, in the past. I could be wrong. 61.3 she averaged in season 7. So you're already getting a discount of from 45 down to 36, which is that 20% discount. So you're getting that 20% discount on her for not playing last year. So that'll be good. And then obviously Howarth, I don't know where I thought the value were with her off the top of my head, but if we just go to Howarth, 50s in the past and played one game in season 8. So she is priced at 42.4, which is, I'm pretty sure, the 20% or so taken out of the 53 also. So that's a really, really good outcome for us. And so I think there is value. There's at least 10 points of value there you would expect. And hopefully she can get back to semblance of her best. But we'll see about that. And then Lauren Young, just sort of picking a player at the moment. We'll probably have to put more cash into this section. And then Powell Steve, from doing my rookie research, I think is one of the best rookies to have. If I just go to the AFLW draft and check out where was she drafted. Prospects, national champs. Nope, I want to see 2024. Let's actually look at the 2024 draft and look at where she was drafted. She was drafted to the Western Bulldogs. Western Bulldogs were a pretty poor side, so I expect her to get games. I'm pretty sure from my research she was on a wing, I want to say, maybe as a midfielder. But yeah, I think that she'll be one that could play early and get some good points on the board, given her Coates League, I believe, form. If I just remember correctly, Oakley Chargers Talent League girl. So yeah, that was from the Coates League, that her numbers. So yeah, I think she's one that could really surprise people and do well and outscore that 25. But honestly, with these rookies outside of like a Centra, a Fish, a Harris, I really don't know too much about sort of who's popping up, etc. Like, you know, about the top end draft picks, etc. Like, I'm pretty sure these were all, Fish was number 5, Centra number 1, and also Harris was number 2. So you've got all sort of the top 5, 6 that people know about, etc. We don't know about the girls down the bottom, like Tipping, I'm pretty sure was in the 50s or something in the draft. But I'm pretty sure she's just, if we actually can check this, where is Tipping? Let me just see. I'm pretty sure she went to Geelong, but I could be wrong about that. It might have been up in the top. Let's actually just search it up here. If I can type. There we go. Nope, it doesn't look like she was. She might have been a preseason draftee or something of that regard. But yeah, let me actually just look it up here. Yeah, there we go. I'm pretty sure she was. Yes, I remember reading this article here about Tipping as well. A 191 centimeter volleyballer, when Geelong don't have many players that are, many rucks, I should say, in their system. Like I think it was Pierce that now has gone off and retired or been delisted or whatever, was one that we were talking about last year, etc. So for her to be like 15 centimeters taller than the other ruckman, it's sort of, if she gets games, I think she'll do really well. But anyway, that is the video. They're going through an initial team reveal, sort of. Obviously, as I said earlier in the video, this team, or this spreadsheet will be in the description below, so that you guys can create your teams. Just probably remember to create a copy of it before you do it, and do it off that copy, etc. But if you guys did enjoy that video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on to know when not only there is more AFL content for Fantasy and Supercoach, but there's also AFLW Fantasy, more content along that lines, as we really do kick into the season. But anyway, I'll see you guys back here for my team reviews later. Bye, guys.